Okay.
There you go.
Now I think you can hear me. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Think.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Cool. Who do we have here? Okay, we got Jen on here. Hi, Jen. Nice to have you here. There's
Hello.
Paul. Hey, Paul. Nice to meet you. I'm Jim McFarland. I know Derek, Mr. Thompson, and of course I know Mr. Griffin. Great. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I'm really, really excited to share some of this. So you guys are the hardcore ones that want the real secrets. Okay, cool. So I'm Jim McFarland. So let me tell you about maybe for some folks who haven't been on these trainings before. So I'm Jim McFarland, and I am a licensed clinical counselor, and I run the Georgia Center for Anxiety as well. So I've been doing Toshindo and the ninja martial arts for probably about 30 years or something like this, since way back in 1986. That's when I really started. So I was actually in that in that summary that was on Eventbrite. I was actually going to put pictures of me with a mullet and stuff at the barn, at the old ninja training location. I actually had one of those. I had a mullet. So luckily, I don't have that anymore. But somebody was telling me those are coming back in. Those are coming back in. But anyway, so yeah, I've been studying this for a long time, and then that was my introduction where I actually got pulled into this. Got pulled into this, and the mandalas, and then the mind science, and then the shugendo, and then it went pulled me right in. So then, after I got the first taste of it, it is exactly like I wrote on the description, the Eventbrite description. I couldn't get enough of it. I truly was mesmerized. I immediately got how valuable it was that what I was being taught. And then I learned later that Stephen Hayes had not taught this particular thing any other time. I later learned that it was like a one shot deal, and that's how he does things. Stephen K. Hayes is mysterious in a lot of ways, and I mean, the guy's a ninja. So I know that's kind of like, what's it? A ninja is a real ninja. Yeah, real ninja. But a real ninja isn't like a guy that skulks around in black clothing and and looks to assassinate people. No, a ninja fits perfectly in with what's going on, and uh, is able to fit in such a way as to where amazing things happen. And so then I got immediately attracted into that. So let me give you a little bit of an overview of what. So Shugendo, I've studied Shugendo. This is a mountain power seeking practice. I've studied that for many years too, and I love sharing this with people. I love giving people the opportunity to get in there and jump in. So let me tell you a little bit more about the backstory about what I went through. What I went through to get this was exactly what I wrote on there. I mean, I didn't have I didn't have any money. I didn't have a car. I mean, I was just rolled over with stress, anxiety. Um, I had a relationship with this person that was just fraught with arguments and just, it was it was a tough slog. It was a tough slog. And I knew that I wanted more. I knew there's got to be more than this. And I'm not I'm not tapping into what I could be, but I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know how to get to that. And so just on a lark, on a whim, I started training with this guy named Mark Russo. And then Mark Russo, he says, and this is the day without the internet, so the way you'd find out about this is word of mouth and reading a book. And so then I was training with Mark Russo in Tampa, and he was a personal student of Stephen K. Hayes. And so I started training with him. And then Mark says to me, Mr. Russo says, "Oh, there's going to be this mandala training. I don't know if you're interested." So I heard that and I was like, "What's that?" So then and this is like I'm literally borrowing cars and things to go up to train with Mark Russo. So I borrowed a car again, and to keep getting up there. And for this particular one and several of the seminars that Stephen Hayes held, one or two of them I borrowed cars. The first few I actually took buses there. So I scraped together money. You know, I had this little lawn care job and I scraped together all the money. Not, it was important. I'm not downing lawn care or whatever, but it's not what I wanted to be doing. You know, it wasn't fulfilling to me. So I had worked that for like 5 years. And so I put all this money, scraped all this money together. And then that weekend got this, and everything started to open up. Everything started to open up. And then I had to have more. And so I gathered over the years a piece here, a piece there, a piece from another thing got pulled in. And then Anshu, you know, Stephen Hayes would teach me another thing and I'd get that pulled in. And this was years of doing this until finally this coherent picture started to emerge. And that is what I wanted to give you guys. So that's what I wanted to give you guys with this Mandala Magic course. Now I know Derek was there and I can't remember. I think Paul, were you there at that one too? The original? Oh, okay, so you weren't there for that one. And I can't remember if Jen was there or not. I don't remember you, Jen, there being there, but at any rate, so the point of it is like I had a small group of people, because Brian, Mr. Griffin kept saying to me, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I argued with him and I'm like, no, you know, this isn't, people aren't going to want this. And then I dug in my heels and, you know, and he was persistent about this and he kept bringing this up. So like, and finally, even down to the end, I was like, I don't know, you know, and he's like, no, people need this, because he had caught in pieces of it. And I think Mr. Griffin had a hidden agenda in there too. He wanted it. So which I totally get. So I relented and I didn't want to do this, but then I said, okay, well, let's see, let's put some stuff out there and let's just see. So we put a little thing out there, and then there was a small group of people that came in and they attended, and they got the full Monty. It was 16 hours of just, and we had a great time. We were sharing all kinds of stuff. It was very interactive. Well, luckily, Mr. Griffin recorded all that. And so, yeah, so then he recorded it all, and pretty amazing. So then let's give you the overview of what we're going to do today with this. So I decided I wanted to learn more too. And that's why I brought Stephen K. Hayes back in. And I'm like, well, I want to learn more of this. And I have continued to learn. I mean, you could spend on each one of these is like a mini model of the universe. Each one of these 9 squares is a mandala. And a mandala just means maybe circle or essence or pith, like the essence, the boiled down pure part. So there's 9 different mandalas in here. It's one big mandala, but it's 9 different ones. And each one, I mean, hitting this thing in like an hour is like, that's trying to explain, you know, like New York City or something, or, you know, nuclear physics in an hour. Quantum mechanics. Yeah, I'll give you a quick quantum mechanic lesson in an hour. But we're going to try to hit an important point in here. So let me give you the bigger overview. So then what it is we've got 9, one way to look at this, and there are many ways to look at this, as you'll find out with Stephen Hayes too. There's ways you could look at it in many different ways, and you could literally spend a lifetime just studying this and getting more and more of these secrets out of it. And it is that deep. It is that deep. But the funny part is that it's a code. It's just all these little Buddhas and all of these little robed beings, you know, and then out here you've got these 3-pronged objects out here, and then, you know, you've got this figure here, you know, that that looks like a holy person. You have all of these, and he's got his hands in these funny configurations, and all of these have different. It's like, wow, what is going on here? Well, it turns out that the entire thing is a code. It's a schematic, and if you know the code and you start to work with the code in it, you start to understand what it is that you're looking at. It's not just a picture. It is not a picture. This is some of the deepest depth knowledge and secrets of a human being and of the universe that you could ever get is encoded in this. And so one way, one view to look at this is 9 steps to go through to bring an intention from your mind into a tangible reality in front of you. A way to do that. How do you do that? If I want something and the world needs it and everything would be better because of it, how do I marshal all of the different parts of me, put them all together and focus them so that I can make something happen, so that I can make something real happen? Maybe I've got a goal in my relationships, or maybe I've got a goal. And when I say a goal, I'm kind of hesitant to even use that word. I said that in the trainings too. This is like something that you have to have. It's a goal. People use goal lightly. Oh, my goal is to da 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 da, and it's just kind of assumed that, well, maybe you'll reach your goal, maybe you won't. So I'm talking about a goal that you really intend. That no, this has got to happen. The world needs this. I need this. This needs to happen. And so then this 9-step method is a way to bring that from out of your head and out of your heart and slowly add energy to it, and more energy, more and more energy, until there it is in front of you. What we call today manifesting. Manifesting. You know, have you read The Secret? And okay, so I'm just going to give you a clue about this. This is like The Secret on mega steroids, right? So The Secret, I'm going to kind of make an analogy. Secret's good. Secret's good. Secret will give you clues about how to do this. Some of them I don't fully agree with. Some of them, in my experience, are maybe. So if I could use The Secret, the book, and that program, and put it in front of you, I would compare it to maybe having maybe an economical car to get you from point A to point B. You know, it's got some good things in it, can give you some economy, now what we're looking at today, this is like having a Ferrari sit side by side. So you've got 500 or 600 horsepower. At the touch of your foot, boom, this thing's gone. You can't even, that's what this is. So, and I'm not trying to throw rocks at The Secret or anything. I'm just saying, when you get to know this thing, that's what this is. So what these 9 steps do then, we won't go through all 9 because I don't have time to go through all 9. You can get that in the course that will go through all 9, but we're going to specifically focus in on one aspect of it. Again, this is like visiting New York City in an hour. I mean, you could spend a day you could spend several weeks on just one of these principles. And any one of these 9 steps can generate a reality on its own if you develop that, if you really work at that and really develop that ability and really explore that. Any one of these 9 can generate a reality. But now when you have all 9 cylinders firing all at once, pretty much, with some maybe rare exceptions and things in there, unstoppable. Can't stop this. Now, it doesn't mean that, things magically happen. Well, it can take the appearance of magic. I think one of the science fiction writers said that any technology that's sufficiently advanced takes the appearance of magic. I come on and flick on my light, or this. I take a black box, I tap it, and boom, my friend's face comes up on it, and I'm talking with him. If I took this back 200-300 years ago, this thing would get me put on a stake. It has the appearance of magic if you don't understand it. But as you begin to understand it, you begin to work with it more. I see, this makes sense. So the same thing with this. So there are 9 cylinders of a cosmic generator you can get fired up. But you're going to get a piece of a part of one of the cylinders. Well, how do I get the rest of it? The course has enough time to go through all of that with you. I just don't have the time to do it. So we're setting up that context. But what I'm going to show you today is 3 secrets to overcoming a certain piece of generating your intention. 3 secrets. So, so let's assume that we've already been through several parts of this mandala. It's a 9-step procedure that starts here in this central, what's called an assembly, a central assembly, and that means something. So I've started there. I've started to move now through these, and you move through them in a clockwise direction for this example. Now, Mr. Hayes, Stephen Hayes is going to go into another application where we're going in reverse, which is going to be beautiful. Now, my intention, I'm going to tell you what my intention is. My intention is to get him to teach 3 more of these as well at a really inexpensive price, really inexpensive. Like to train with Stephen Hayes, listen, to be very frank. To train with Stephen Hayes personally is very expensive. One-on-one, very expensive. To train with him at a seminar where you have 200 people, highly expensive, not as much as personal, but expensive. And anything worthwhile is going to be, it's worth money. People go through things to get it to you, to gather all the pieces, all that. So then this is going to be offered. These other seminars is like, I mean, it's like $47 or something for each one. If people want to do it, we're just going to poll people. And I told Mr. Hayes, I was like, if people want to do this, we'll go forward with it. If they don't, we'll leave it right where it's at. So whatever they want to do, we'll go through that. So that's pretty exciting. So we have the opportunity to do that. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited. Are you guys excited about that piece, about the possibility maybe of him doing more? Yes, please. So anyway, so let's say now, let's go through a little bit of this process. Let's say we've already focused in on our intention. We know what we want. We've used a 3-part secret. So this would be one of the hidden things in this mandala. We've used 3 different parts of our being to start to generate an intention. What are those parts? They're traditionally called a sanmitsu. Sanmitsu. San means, it's a Japanese word. San means triple or 3. And then mitsu, M-I-T-S-U, mitsu, means secret, 3 secrets. So what are the 3 secrets? Well, in order to make something happen, anything happen, I've got to use my intention. I got to want it, right? I got to want it. And by the way, these all come into play. These 3 all come into play with everything you have ever generated in your life. In fact, these 9, you have already used them. You just didn't know you used them. You didn't know you used them. And traditionally it's spoken that, oh, yeah, it's secret, not because I'm keeping it secret from you, but because it's readily on the surface and you can't see it. That's why it's secret. Not because people are hiding things from you. No, it's because you have to have it pointed out to you. And then you start to say, oh, this is real. And so you got to have the intention. Second step, I got to have a real method. I've got to actually have a real steps to follow to get myself from where my heart is to where the physical reality is. So I need steps in between there. I need to have a method. I need to have my intellect in there. And I need to have like researched it and found out and found a teacher and all this stuff. And then the third part, nothing happens unless you're doing something physically. Because look, we're in a physical world. This is physical stuff. I mean, you're looking at your computer. That's a physical thing. Nothing happens without your action in there. So we need to use those parts. That's the triple secret. So I have focused, very focused intention. I have a discernible, truthful method, an actual method to get us there. And then the third thing is I actually have action. I have disciplined physical endeavor to get me there. Those are the 3. So now let's say you've really done that. You've focused in on it. You've got your method together. You've really, really researched all that. You start now. We're making our way around this mandala now, and we're in the home stretch. We're in the home stretch. So we come all the way around, and now this particular part right here, this is secret number 8. So you have secret number 1, secret number 2, secret number 3, secret number 4, secret number 5, 6, 7. And now 8. So that we can break down those 3 using my thoughts and focus, those can be broken down into 3 more, right? You can break down the method part and the intellect part into 3 more. You have 6 of these then. Then you can break down the final part of using our actions into 3 more. And that's what brings you to fruition. This is the actual realization of the goal, this final 9th secret. So we're going to go into the 8th secret. So that's a lot of words, a lot of background. So is that clear? Does that make sense with everybody? And Brian, we have enough people here where we just unmute them all, and let people talk, and then we can answer some questions or clear up anything if they have any questions.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions about the whole thing. I mean, of course, most of those are going to be addressed in the course that we did last year, which you guys have the notes for that. So definitely watch those review videos.
Paul, what did you have? Go ahead.
No, I just unmuted. I'm listening.
Oh, okay, great. I thought maybe you had a question, so I was going to answer it. Yeah, it's true that, and I get Mr. Griffin's intention. He wants to get past this, and he wants to get to the secrets, and I get that. But it is carried in that course. Exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. A lot of your questions could be answered, but I want to have the opportunity if we're going to have some interaction. If you had a question, I'm cool with that, and let's talk about it for a minute or two, and then we'll jump back in. So, yes, sir.
One of the things that came up that sort of percolated after we did those last sessions, and was in the discussion group, which I thought was absolutely wonderful, was you could become so hyper-focused on the goal that you don't realize the benefits of each one of the 9 steps, right? So Mr. Rick Sears made it, he used the analogy of, you want to fly an airplane, or no, you make the intention, I want to fly. And people will say, well, that's impossible. But then you start doing the research and gathering the people and the lifelong friends that you make in the process, the connections, the ripples you send out by hiring this person to teach you this skill, provides them with sustenance and with a means of employ. And I mean, it has these, it's not just the end goal, it's the whole process through the 9 that has this amazing manifestation effect.
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Thompson. So we could think of this as a clockwise swirl. So imagine if you put your 2 fingers into a pond and you're swirling it. Now, I don't care how big that body of water is, if it's a Great Lake or if it's an ocean, those ripples go out, right? So we are constructing and changing the fabric of reality. As we do that, yes, all of these beautiful ripples come off of that.
I brought that up only because it was an amazing thing, because I think I had posted on the page that, I manifested the job that I had always wanted on a project I had always wanted, which I can't wait to tell you guys about, because I think you'll really dig it.
Yeah, we're going to look forward to that story. That'll be cool.
Right.
Cool. We'll do that maybe in one of the other discussion groups, right?
From that.
So we'll share some stories in the Ryokai.
Yeah.
By the way, did everybody get an invitation into the Ryokai mastermind group, into the Mandala group on Facebook? Does everybody get an invitation to that?
Yes,
I'm sure Mr. Griffin, he's on it. So I just want to make sure that everybody got one. So everybody got that? Cool.
Yeah.
So get on in there. I'm going to go on there and I'm just going to start doing stuff right now. So I'm just later on today, I'm just going to start, just like sharing stuff. So get in there, ask questions. That's for your support. That's for Q&A. That's for getting other support that are learning this and using it too. And hey, I love it too, because I'm learning. I mean, people say things, I'm like, oh, what was that? So every little bit, we can learn from every little piece. So I'm so delighted to have you here and just to be working with you on this. So then to jump back in, so 9 steps, now I'm coming around the horse. I had the intention, my heart's there. I moved into, I've gathered the right methods. I've gathered teachers. I've gathered allies around me. I've made all that happen. Now I'm moving into this space where now this is an interesting part up in here. It's like you start to kind of play it out. Start to play it out kind of beforehand a little bit. You play the goal as if it's real, but beforehand. But it's already, you've already put in a lot of time and effort into it already. So yeah, you're just kind of doing this ahead of time is all, you know? So that's what these are about. Those are really, really cool. And there's little tricks. There's lots of tricks with each one of these that are like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then as you get used to them, you'll spot the tricks elsewhere. So we've got all that. Now we're at this place where now we may have been doing this and now we're encountering resistance. Okay, so it's a natural process when you manifest something to encounter resistance. That's what's going to happen with us. We will all make resistance. When originally in that description, I write about, oh, I had a new job now. I had my relationships were going better. I had manifested a brand new car, gorgeous car. I mean, this was in the space of like 6 or 9 months, like boom, it was there. Well, yes, it's magical, but there was real struggle in there too. That's a part of it. You know? So what this one is about is it's literally called Break On Through. That's the title that encapsulates the essence of this 8th secret. Break on through. So within that, break on through all the obstacles, all the inner fears, right? So we can fear success. We can fear, oh, what's the tribe going to think? If I get this thing and, the people that I'm with, they're going to be, oh, so you're all that now, huh? How do I work with that? What about inner resistance? I start to get a little scared. This is getting real. This is really happening. How do I get in my head? How do I have shoulders big? I start to question myself. Do I have shoulders big enough to carry what it is I'm intending? Do I really want it? So we're talking about very real magic, very real world application of how manifesting really works. So you have to address this piece because it will be your inner and outer resistances that will stop this from happening. They will get in the way. So there are 3 more secrets within this that I want to go over today, and then we'll hit them briefly. We'll go over more in the discussions and more, of course, in the course, but there are 3 pieces to this, A, B, and C. Okay, so first secret. I need to be aware of tension and resistance in my own body. I need to be aware of tension and resistance in my own body. And further, I need to look at that resistance as not a problem. It's not a problem. It's an indicator of, usually it's an indicator of some inner belief set or some inner mindset that I have that is holding on to this old reality. So remember, I'm changing a reality. I'm moving into another reality here. And and it's very down to earth. Let's say I want to be a doctor, right? So now I've moved through all that, and I've gone through internship, and now I'm I'm in my residency, and but there's resistance. It's like, can I really do this? I don't know if I could do this. Every doctor moves through that. That's a part of it. We have it built into our Toshindo martial art as well. You encounter resistance. The first time you usually encounter it is approaching black belt. Can I do this? I got to tell you, that resistance is really real. I left martial arts practice for 5 years because of that. I didn't have this piece. of the puzzle. No, you're going to have resistance. We're going to expect resistance. And we are positioning ourselves such that the resistance is accepted and worked with and even thanked, right? So we're going to thank the part of ourselves. That's a piece of this. We're going to thank the part of ourselves that's creating the resistance. So maybe I feel a lump in my throat. Maybe every time I try to do this, I feel tension in my shoulders. Oh, there you go. There is maybe cellular resistance even. Could you imagine that perhaps our realities are encoded even into our cellular structure and DNA and our muscles and our tissues and our bones? No, this is the truth. This other thing is not the truth. This is the truth. We're looking how to shift this to another truth. So imagine how your body is like, oh, I can get to fighting that. And so all of these tensions and things will start coming up. So first one is I want to pay attention to those. Those are messengers. They are messengers. They have valuable information for you. They have valuable information for you. And what we could go in maybe into one of the discussions, or, you know, in a Q&A in the discussion group, in the mastermind discussion group, is how do you begin to communicate with those parts of yourself that are resisting? Great book that was just recommended by my good friend, Sir, Mr. Griffin. Please tell them about this book. They've got to get this book. Yes. Have any of you read that book?
Yeah, so this book is called The War of Art. It's an entire book about overcoming resistance. It's written by Stephen Pressfield, an American novelist. He wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance and some other books, Gates of Fire. The whole book is detailing, like, you're gonna feel resistance when you're about to create something new. And he's like, look for that, because that's a sign that you're onto something important. He said, you'll never feel resistance to laying on the couch and watching TV. You won't feel resistance to that because it doesn't do anything good for you. It doesn't do anything good for your community or for the world. But actually getting up and doing work is going to create resistance, because like Jim said, you're surviving right now on how things are going. So any change, there's a deep part of your psychology that says, like, whoa, if things are different, I might not survive. That's kind of what it boils down to. So it wants things to stay the same out of a protective nature for yourself. Hey, we're surviving right now because we know what's going on. So you have to, like Jim said, thank that part of you for trying to take care of you, for trying to keep you alive. You have to work with it in a compassionate way like that. Another teacher of mine, they call that inertia, or that spirit of inertia. It wants things to stay how they are right now because it's safe. So yeah, this is a great book by Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art. He's got another one called Do the Work. So that's another good one by him. He's got several.
Oh, that one, Do the Work. Well, let's see.
That's number 5, isn't it?
All right. So that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. That particular one is Get to Work. So it's right. Let's see.
I think it's the 5th one you said,
This
isn't
one.
it? Yeah.
Yes, this one. So
he's got a few of those.
So you can gather once you know this code, you can start gathering all these pieces. And one of my dear friends that I taught this method to, and again, I want to thank Stephen K. Hayes. It is his, kind of brilliance that came through with this, and his study and his digging further. I just took it and I ran with it. It was like a piece. I was like, and just, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. I got to do this. So one of my good friends, he said, he was saying, you can find pieces of this in lots of books, but no book, no seminar has all 9. And I'm like, yes, I know. All 9 of these. Everybody will have pieces of it, but nobody will tap into all 9 of them. So first secret, I'm going to pay attention to resistance in my body. I'm going to pay attention to resistance on the outside too. People saying to me, why do you want to do that? I mean, really, you're going to do that? Oh, that's good. Because that's kind of a reflection maybe of some inner resistances. And it could be just a person that's being cranky or mean, or maybe wants you to be back with a tribe. So those social forces can be a hindrance to us. We have to have some bravery in here. Gotta summon up a little bit of bravery to kind of punch through. Well, so we're going to accept resistance. That's the second one. I'm not going to reject it. I'm not going to fight with it. Right? The more we resist, the more it persists. The more we resist, the more it persists. So that's the second secret. I want to accept it. I want to accept it and allow the resistance to be there. And I want to explore it. As Mr. Griffin was saying, this is a messenger. That means you're on to something important. It's information. It allows me to see, oh, that's interesting. So I'm, a lot of times for people where this comes up is if they're doing something with a higher income level. The research shows that that's one of the hardest things to do, is to change your income level, or or to change your level of kind of income that way. And so a lot of people have beliefs about money. Money doesn't grow on trees. You ever heard that? I heard that. I heard that when I was little. You know, what do you think this is? You know, you think I'm a bank? Heard that. Pay attention to where these might have come from. These are belief sets. These are part of your operating system that are there that are not conscious to you, that in part of your image, your self-image, the way you see and perceive yourself. And this is true about me. And it's a non-verbal thing. It's not a verbal, oh, this is how I am. How you encounter these is through experience, because when I bump up against something that's not me, this is where you'll begin to feel resistances from the inside and outside, right? Oh, people will literally say that to you. That's not you. So why you being, you know, ooh, why are you being all fake? Why are you being all fake? Why, you know, that's some of the resistances you may encounter with this. It's almost like one person described it to me. It's like crabs. You know, one crab in a bucket tries to get out of the bucket and all the other crabs just pull them down. So we've got to be very careful in this process of who we're surrounding ourselves with. And sometimes I may even, I'm not going to resist that. I actually want this, in this method, I want the person to say that, because by this time I want it so much. And this has to be a reality. And I found the right methods and teachers. And now I'm acting this thing out that this person saying this, like, you're going to do that? Really? Okay. Great. I'm so glad you said that, because now that gives me a little sword. I'm going to be really embarrassed if I don't make this happen. I'm going to be really embarrassed. So it's another thing you can, you know, kind of poke yourself in the back with, to get you to move past some of your fears and some of the, so we have fears, inner resistances are fears, doubts, belief systems that we have. It could be, I remember one person telling me about, he had a, he wanted to be a businessman, and he wanted to run a particular martial arts school. And he told me that in his family, it was very normal for, he came from a certain culture, and the culture in that family was that the whole family sacrificed everything for the son, for the firstborn son. And then that son then did this thing, and he grew up with, you know, messages about, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to help the family. But then he wanted to diverge off this thing. His real heart, his heart's desire was to do this other thing with martial arts. And oh, they resisted that. The tribe, those social pressures from outside resisted that. So he had to work with that and learn how to work with it, and then overcome it and face those fears, face the fear of rejection. And like, as Mr. Griffin said, these come down to survival needs that we have. We all have needs for social connection. So when people are rejecting us for what we're doing, that can become very challenging. That can become very challenging. How do I retain this person's love and respect and admission into the tribe and still do what I need to do, right? That my heart is trying to drive me to, that needs to happen. So that's a part of that too. So first secret within this 8th one, the whole 8th one is called break on through, and literally break on through all the resistances. Like you're a rolling snowball that's gathered all this momentum. And that'll be another one that we'll talk about, how to develop this momentum. But everything's cranking. I've got, this is the 8th cylinder, man. I'm moving. That thing is like a train, like a high-powered train. And things come in and they bounce off of it, right? Because the more momentum I have, the easier it is for me to just bust on through. So now with this 8th one, we're getting the 8th cylinder on fire, fired up now. So you need to crash on through all of your beliefs that are holding you, all those survival type of beliefs, the operating system, the things that may have worked really well for you, right? But it was never meant to stay still on. It worked well. It was a stepping stone. It wasn't a stopping place. It was a stepping stone, and it worked for you. It helped you. Have enormous compassion for those parts of you that are resisting. Even have and cultivate love for those parts, because those parts are trying to save your butt. they're trying to save your butt. They're trying to save you, you know? So because of that, I want to thank that part of myself, right? So first secret within break on through is look for resistance and pay attention to it. Second one is I'm going to accept and allow the resistance to be there. I'm not going to fight and struggle and get caught up in that struggle. I'm going to allow it and just notice it. I'm going to notice it. So we'll pause there for a moment. Does that make sense to everybody with
I
this?
think to piggyback on that,
Yes, sir.
you know, you're going to get resistance from people in your life because they've bought into that resistance or that inertia that things need to stay this way for survival, because you know, maybe they abandoned a dream of their own at one point in life, for that safety of staying with things the way that they are. So the more that they're trying to talk you out of it, it's kind of a like they care that much because they're afraid that if you do this, you know, you're just you're wasting your life. So they think, you know, misery's in your future if you go ahead and do this. So you kind of have to look at them with a thank you as well. You know, oh, thank you for caring so much about me, but you know, at the same time, you're going to have to trust me on this because I'm going to do it.
So well said, Mr. Griffin. Yes, and the nature of people is that they want to, what I call, concretize us or solidify how they see us, right? So how many times have you made a change and the person says, oh yeah, he's the girl or she's the girl or he's the guy that does this, and you're so far beyond that. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, get the message. I'm not that. You know, I have people in my life that look at me as if I'm still, you know, 15 years old. I'm not 15. I'm a grown man, 55. But because of the nature of human beings, we like to concretize how we see things because it makes us feel safer. That safety need again. We need to have things predictable. We need to be able to predict what they're going to do. So because it's upsetting that apple cart, we cannot predict now. When they're getting off the chain and getting outside the box, I can't predict with this person. What are they going to do now? You know, so you can, I remember with some of my clients, you know, I'm an anxiety specialist, so I work with a lot of anxiety. Some of my anxiety clients will encounter, as they're overcoming their anxiety disorder and they're using, you know, these kinds of things to overcome it. Now their beliefs are changing about themselves, right? So now they're exploring more, they're doing more, they're out visiting people, they're having new friends. This can become very threatening to the partner because the partner had the view of them that I'm taking care of you. That's my role. And your role is to be taken care of. And I tell you what to do. And I remember this one particular person. It was interesting to watch this happen. They had come into my office and I was helping him with his anxieties and so forth. And then I had made, after about 5 times of the partner coming in too, the partner kept coming in to this person's private counseling session. And so then finally I said, you know, it'd probably be best if maybe if you could just wait outside if you don't mind. I mean, just wait in the lobby and then, you know, I'll bring him out to you as soon as he's finished. And oh, the resistance that came out of that. Oh, her face changed, her face screwed up and, you know, got incensed and, you know, the face turned a little red, marched out the door and got out into the office. And the guy tried to, he felt uncomfortable with it. He was like, yeah, she just cares a lot about me and stuff. But what I saw is a belief system in her, an operating system that accepted her role as a caregiver, caretaker, and then his role as a victim, as one who is taken care of. And that's their play they have going on. That's their scene. That's their reality, you know. So then I'm violating that reality. I'm poking holes in that reality, you know. So the partners can get, you're actually the person that loves you the most. They can be the most threatened by some of the changes you make. Maybe it calls certain things up in them. Maybe it calls a lot of fear. Maybe it calls up fears that somehow you're going to somehow leave them behind. So then we really have to hold the hand of our partners as we're doing this kind of stuff. We have to kind of let them know and let them in on it. And you're going to be excited. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm doing this. And they may be a little bit, you know, you're going to leave me. Am I part of the reality you're leaving behind? So that's a part of this too. So, so yeah, so we have to accept this, and then we have to start getting out of our own way. Sometimes we're trying too hard. Sometimes we're trying too hard. We're trying too hard to make this happen, and we're just stiffening up. Anybody ever, I mean, can you remember the first time you tried to drive a car? You're trying to drive a car and you're stiff, and your hands are knuckling, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm checking all the mirrors. And, you know, so this is how a 15-year-old learns how to drive, right? But eventually, as we do this more and more, we get out of our own way. And now, you know, I've got a, you know, burger in my mouth and fries going. I'm having a conversation with this person, and I'm on the phone too, while the car is driving itself. Now, that's not the ideal. That's not the ideal. Stay off your phones. But this is how we live. You know, so what happened then in between when you first started driving to where you are now? We say, oh, I got used to it. Or no, I'm going to subject a different view to you. You changed your operating system is what you did. You affected your subconscious. You affected your subconscious. You changed your subconscious. That is what we're looking to change in this. That is where the resistances are coming from. Our subconscious, literally, so we're conscious of certain things, semi-conscious, and then subconscious is below our conscious awareness, right? So you've ever been driving a car and then you land in your driveway, you know, and 17 miles went by, and you're like, how did I end up here? Yeah, your operating system, the subconscious, took that over. So what we're really looking to do with all of these 9 is to really affect the subconscious operating system such that both our inner reality changes and outer reality changes with it.
I love the way he describes it in this book. He says, you have to stay at your craft or your art or whatever it is that you're trying to do long enough to capture the attention of the muses. And then, but it's
Yes.
that you're doing it long enough to where you've convinced your subconsciousness that, no, I can do this. I am doing this.
Yes. Yes, 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 absolutely. Daniel Kahneman and Mr. Griffin. You guys, that's it. And by the way, I didn't have that book, and Mr. Griffin suggested it to me probably for the 5th time. And I always said I was, you know, but I got distracted into other things. That's one of the biggest things too that can really get in our way that we may have to break on through, especially in this day and age, is distraction. But I said I was going to get this book, and I never ended up getting it. Finally told me again. It was like, I don't know, the 4th time or whatever. I'm like, I gotta get this book. So without missing a beat, I got off that call, boom, did it. Got the
This
book.
book or
So
the
now
Kahneman book?
making my way through it.
This book or the Daniel Kahneman thinking?
Well, I'm sorry. The War of Art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that book. The Kahneman book I already have. So yeah, the War of Art. So yeah, very, very good. And I think I did it with 1 or 2 other books because, you know, Mr. Griffin is an avid reader and he explores all of this stuff too. I've got like 20 books going at once. You know, so anyway, so we have to learn here to also get out of our own way. We may be trying too hard. There is a time period that it takes for your subconscious to kind of get used to this reality that's happening, right? It needs to get used to this reality. And by repeatedly visiting these 9, right, we get that. We start to get that.
Hey, Jim, I don't know if you, I don't want to speak, would not.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So just 2 things. One that really jumped out at me when you were talking about resistance is, you know, the resistance we face. One of the biggest things I think runs through people's minds is this real? And so I wanted to state that just to kind of help people. Oh yeah, that's right, or something, and it can benefit someone. The other thing is just on a personal level, and I don't want to, again, I don't know how much to speak on, so if I'm speaking too much, tell me to quiet and I'll just go back to this. But for myself, this through the Mandala and through the Stephen K. Hayes stuff that you presented here is all new to me. I studied very briefly at one of the schools connected to Stephen. And I did other martial arts, et cetera, but I was drawn, even at first speaking to the sensei there, I said, wow, there's a lot of the Stephen K. Hayes martial art that I think is connected to this manifestation. And he was kind of like, interesting. And so here I
Sounds like a real, yeah, sounds like a Toshindo practitioner, you know, a
Yeah.
teacher.
So outside of this, I followed this through the secret and things. I manifested a house. But the past, which, you know, someday I'll write it down or whatever. But I mean, I've had some amazing experiences with manifesting things. So
Wonderful. You got to share those, Paul. You got to share those in the group. Those are good, right? The more we hear about each other, that builds all of our collective group momentum. So please, I'm so glad you're saying this.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I won't get into that right now. But so I've run into a major block, and it kind of has to do with what I just said about, is it real? And so like over the past few months, I've really been stuck. And what keeps going in my head, I'm like, I know it's real. I know it's real, which is hence the door opens and here this pops up on my timeline from the sensei of the Boston school. I'm like, wow. So sometimes answers will be laid out before you, but it's that whole, how do you break from when you're seeing so much fear, overwhelming, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to collapse, I'm going to fail, not going to work. Oh my gosh, I put too much faith in this, that everything's going to carry me, and then I'm going to wind up homeless, or you saying like I'm trapped where that, oh my gosh, I made a mistake believing all this, even though I have this tangible proof. Just luck, fortune. Yeah, and I think the answer is already here, because I turn on Facebook and there's my sensei, who I stayed close friends with, presenting this. And of course, I jumped right on it. What's the cost?
So I'm getting an impression you study with Mark Davis, maybe?
Absolutely. Great guy.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So this is a great question. This is a beautiful question. So what this is a challenge with, really the bravery part, right? So Paul, if we take on a challenge that's really big for us, we're massively changing our reality, and there's bigger pieces of us that don't believe it, then the more fear will come up. The more fear and the more resistance will come up from the inside and sometimes the outside too. So the answer to the question is, let's say if I want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to be like, whoever your hero is, with a six-pack and just, beautiful muscles. I mean, that looks like Brian, that looks like Mr. Griffin. If you want to be that guy, right? Then, and somebody says, okay, well, you need to get into the gym, and that's part of your manifestation process to manifest, that kind of body. I'll be your personal trainer. And then you go to the gym a couple of times, and you're in there and you're working it. And I mean, and I come out and I say, wow, I'm really scared. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can get those six-pack abs like you, and I can get that body like you've got. Then what would you suspect the answer to that question or that concern might be?
I would say just try.
Part of it is try, so keep going. And part of it, what it is it's too big of a jump to want to get those abs right away, right? Too big. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't have or manifest that fast. You could. The question is, are you willing to pay the price and take the risks and so forth? And that's where that fear part comes in. Right. So the way I like to work with folks with this, and indeed with myself too, is to build your momentum going in. So part of you knows that this is real. Another part resists it. Okay. So that's good. So we're going to thank that resistance. Thank you. You're trying to keep me safe, right? You're trying to keep me not to lose the house or whatever. And that's valid. That's valid. I mean, I don't want to develop this method and walk out, in front of somebody that, well, I'm bulletproof now. I'm like Superman. My cape's hanging behind my back and I say, stop the bullets and, manifest that. Oh, no, that's real. You better have a vest on. You better have your own firearm. You better have a team behind you. I mean, so we're not going to be out of touch with that. So as far as like taking risks with this, I say start very small. Build more of your confidence with it. and then gradually extend that reach a little bit more to where now it doesn't feel like such a big jump. It doesn't feel like such a big jump. I've got confidence, and it's confidence that's not blind faith. It's not like blind. No, it's intelligent confidence and faith that comes from a lot of doing this. So then, okay, I've got that. I know this works. I get that this works. So, yeah. So I get that this works. So, and then that will begin to answer some of these questions of, can I do this or not? Or I don't believe this, or this kind of thing. So does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And you can even bring that up in the discussion group too, Paul, and we can talk about it in there, and get some other ideas from folks who've already been through this training, what their view is on it. Mr. Griffin, I'm sure he's got some good things to say about this as well. So last piece, third secret, and then we got to close up shop. Literally wish we could spend the whole day doing this, because I could hang out here in the eighth one all day and just talk and just, share ideas and really get a clear, but we just don't have the time. So if you haven't got the course, if you haven't got, the Mandala course, that's where all these answers are going to be. If you want to learn about the other 9 and you haven't got it yet, get it. You want to grab onto it. It's a steal. That stuff, this is what I said to Stephen Hayes. I said, all of this stuff should have an extra 0 on it. That's how much it's worth. And he's very humble, he's very humble, and he's like, but I know. So this is like $1,500 worth of stuff for, I think, like $297 or something. So, it's compared to what I went through and I had to go through to get all this and gather all this and put it all together. Yeah. So that's a fair price. So basically think of it this way. It's roughly $10 a year for what I put into it, or whatever, $7 or whatever that is. It's for each year of that. So at any rate, so third secret with this, break on through our resistances. And so there's another thing in here that we need to be and become aware of. And I didn't explore it a lot in the original course. I didn't go deeply into this, but this is something that we all need to be very aware of. And I have a short amount of time because I have another appointment with this, but I want to share this with you. So there is a thing in here. There's such a thing as certain balances having to be worked out. So we look at the universe's balance, right? So there may be resistances from, you could call it the scheme of things. That may be a good way to say it. Where it's not that it doesn't want this to become reality, it's that another way of saying this is paying dues, maybe. In our culture, we call it that. Oh, you got to pay your dues, when I asked Stephen K. Hayes about this, and I've heard him speak about this, he said, well, how long should you go after an intention before you finally give up? And you say, well, this is just not meant to be, and the answer was really intriguing. The answer was 10 years. So pick an intention. Somebody was talking to me last night about a particular intention that they had about generating this particular outcome with income. And they're hitting some resistance. They're like, wow, it just feels really thick in here. And I'm like, yep. So then I suggested some things, and then I said, yeah, if you really want this, work on it. It may take a while. It may take a couple years, a year, 5, 7. After 10 years, if you're still getting a tough slog, then maybe recalibrate what you're doing. So we can go back and look at each of the 3 parts of the Sanmitsu, this triple secret, thought, word, and action. We can look at that and we can say, okay, do I really want this? Do I really want this? So you're going to require some exploration with that. Do I really want this? Am I willing to pay the price that I need to pay right now to get this? Not in any kind of immoral way or anything like that, or unethical way. No, but am I willing to put in the work and the time? So that's 1. So do I really want this? 2, do I have the right method? Do I keep just bumping my head against the wall and the door is literally right here, but I can't see it because somebody told you, oh yeah, walk towards that wall right there. Bonk, bonk, bonk. And now I've got to recalibrate my method. Now I'll get through the door. So I need to look at my method. And then the final piece is, am I working at it? Is my action efficient? And so if I have a rock here, you know, my rock is over here, and I've got a shovel, and somebody says, yeah, the shovel will move this, you know, and I'm digging though over here, yeah, you're not working in the right thing or an efficient way. Go get a backhoe, pull it up to the rock and hit a little button, and it goes, and then turn the wheel, hit the gas a little, and then hit the button again, and it goes efficient, right? So do I have the right, am I taking the right actions so that this is really going to work? Are those, so we can go back and look very carefully at those three. Okay, so that was a lot. That was a lot. I apologize. I do, if you're overwhelmed, I'm sorry. It wasn't my intention to overwhelm. Jen, I can't get any like visual feedback from you, so I'm not sure if you're overwhelmed or not. That wasn't my intention if you feel that way. There is a tendency with this stuff because I get very excited about this, and I know in my heart I'm very much in a place of just really working with this and using it for a lot of things. And so then I get very excited about it, and then I get very enthusiastic, and then sometimes it may feel like you're taking a drink out of a fire hose. And that can make people feel like they can't do it. And that is not it. You can do this. You absolutely 100% can do this. This is a power that every single human being on the planet has. I'm going to say that again. This is a power that every single human being on the planet has. You just have to allow yourself to experience it and set yourself up so that you can experience beautiful things. So start really small. Start with very small intentions. Going to the grocery store. I'm going to get this, this, this. And I go through this 9-step process and then generate that. Build success small. Oh, there's this little thing I want to happen, you know, in my relationship. I, you know, want to have a little bit more, you know, closeness in my relationship. Okay, find a method to do that, engage it, and then generate a little bit more closeness and connection. So experience smaller triumphs first. Go in there. You can absolutely do this. So that would be a big thing. I didn't say this at the other seminar or the other trainings. Suspend your disbelief. Believe that you can do this. Just accept, yeah, I can do this. Just kind of approach it. Yeah, this is how it works. Right? And then allow yourself to experience this. Okay? And then later it will begin, and even maybe before then, begin to look more and more like magic. So manifesting something. So if you haven't got the course, get on there, get the course. Anshu's training, Stephen K. Hayes training is coming up. So if you want that by itself, that's fine. It's it's like $150 value for like 47 bucks. And then I'm going to try to get him to do 3 more, depending on how everybody responds. If you guys want that, I will start to encourage that. So let me know that you want that, and we'll continue to roll with this. So we're building our own mandala with this, our own swirling the fabric of reality, right? We're swirling like a wizard or a sorceress, you know. Very interesting, right? Cool analogy. All right. It was wonderful hanging out with everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. And it was delightful. It was fun. I will see you in the discussion group, and then I will see you at Mr. Hayes training. I believe it's February the 13th. And there, I'll see you in the course. February 13th at 3 p.m. for Stephen K. Hayes training on this. He's going to be going in the opposite direction. So this gives you an idea how big this is and how much there is to learn. And take your time with it and enjoy it. As Mr. Thompson said, enjoy it. Enjoy the process. So, all right, everybody have a good afternoon. It was a delight being with y'all. Bye.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to upload this and send out a link to you guys and to everybody else who shared this on their social media. This was the bonus for that. So look forward to that. I'll probably get it out.
And thanks so much for sharing it. Thanks so much for sharing it. That
Yeah,
was
thank you, guys.
rocking. That was so cool. Thank you so much for getting this out to people so that more people can use this. This is a time we need it. We need it. There's so many scary things going on and weird things. And we need people that can generate what it is they need to make this world better. We need that to ripple on out.
And that's
We
part of
need it.
the
So,
sixth quadrant there is getting the word out.
yes, yes, yes. That's this one right here. Talk it up. Talk it up. There's power in your words. There's power in your words. Use them. Use it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.